I want to find out which of my pencils I could layer on top. Hello, this is What Becky Did Last Night, and I am doing a pencil experiment today. I want to find out which of my pencils I could layer on top of something else in my mixed media, or if I am doing a pencil study and I reach a maximum layer, what could I use on top? Do I have another pencil that will go on top? If I wanted to add more details, those kind of things. So there's a number of reasons why this would be useful. The pencils that I've got today will be the Caran-d'Ache Luminance, Derwent Lightfast, Derwent Drawing, Derwent Pro Color, Derwent Chromaflow, Prismacolor, Faber-Castell Polychromos, Derwent Coloursoft, and then just to see Derwent Pastel and Faber-Castell Pit Pastel. I've not bothered to use any watercolor pencils, but I don't really use them for the top layers anyway. But I also haven't used them as a base because I haven't used any watercolor products as a base because watercolor paint, watercolor pencil, and even the Neo 2s, once water activated, will free up the surface, the tooth of the paper for pencil work to go on top anyway. And I don't have any watercolor paints that would resist pencil work. So I've not included those in that test. But what I have included are the Caran-d'Ache Neo Color 1, the Neo Color 2. As I say, it's going to be dry, not water water soluble. Neo Pastel, which are the oil-based Caran-d'Ache crayons, and Neo Art, which are there somewhere between wax. People are saying they're more like the Neo Color ones. Posca Pastel. That was these little guys that recently came out. They're kind of crayony as well. Posca Pen, so the acrylic pens, Pan Pastels, Stabilo Woodies, and then a test where I get to lay the pencil on top of the other pencils. And these are well burnished in, so this is almost like I could not get any more of this pencil down. So the question is, can another pencil go on top of it? And then I've also done, rather than testing a luminance on top of a luminance, that doesn't make sense. I've just blacked out the box just so that then I can see a opacity study of those pencils. So I think we should get started. I took the liberty of making all the lines first. And as you can see, I have a light color and a dark color just so that I can test different things. Just in case a color might show up well on a light surface, but you can't see it too much on a dark surface. So I guess we're going to start with the Luminance. So these are from Caran-d'Ache. And I'm going to start on the Neo Color ones over here. Okay. So there's a little bit, it's not, yeah, you can see that it kind of does go over the top. It's a bit translucent though on there. Let's see. More resistance on the Neo Color 2. Neo Pastel I can go over. It kind of scrapes it off though. Neo Art, not so much. Let me do the whole lot. That's a no from the Stabilo Woody. Now on top of all of the pencils. And then I do the white. Okay. All right, so let's see how that one did. So straight away, you can see that there is some lay down of a color on the wax and oil pastel side of things. Not so much from the white though. This isn't, Luminance doesn't have the strongest white, but it's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent white in terms of opacity. Posca Pastels, I could see myself going on top with some detail with those. So yeah, so, but not, again, not the white. Posca Pens did better than I thought actually. Pan Pastels, yes. Stabilo Woodies, that's a no. That's a no on that one. And then on top of pencils, once it's very burnished, I could probably go over the Derwent Lightfast. I do combine them actually. I have if you're new to my channel, I have made a ultimate Lightfast pencil coloring color family chart, which combines Luminance, Derwent, and Drawing because they do play really nicely together. So yeah, so I can see those working together, but again, I lose the white pretty much all the way down until we get to pastels. So I could use them on top of pastels, definitely. The pan pastels and the pastel pencils did pretty well. So I'm going to repeat this process for the remaining pencils. I'm thinking that's probably not going to be in real time, but let's do a few more and then maybe I'll start to speed it up. I'm moving on to the Derwent Lightfast now. Okay, so straight away we can start to see that the Derwent Drawing doesn't hold on top of the wax and oil pastels as good as the others. But this is interesting. It's doing very well on top of the acrylic. Acrylic pan pastels is good. They did better on top of the Stabilos though, but or not. Yeah, the Stabilo isn't really holding on to any pencil at the moment. Okay, let's keep going. Derwent Pro Color. Okay, so Pro Color still proving to be a mystery as to are these guys better than just doing hair? Not very clingy on top of much at all. The white has like no opacity to it whatsoever. And the white doesn't add on top of any pencils, but the colors kind of do, but still I have better options in the softer pencils. These are very hard pencils, by the way. These are they retain a very good point, so I've been using them for hair details so that I don't have to sharpen my pencil a million times. But yeah, even on the pan pastel, not very opaque. But it does seem like it's kept its color on top of the pastels quite nicely. So I wonder if the color side of things would be nice on top of pastels. Okay. Interesting. Let's move on. We're on to the Derwent Chromaflow. Okay, the Chromaflow did okay with some of these products here, maybe less so than Neo Pastel, but definitely Neo Art Posca Pastels. Posca Pen, that went down really nice on the Posca Pen. The white is pretty opaque, but not so much the colors. And again, nothing really wants to go on top of Stabilo Woodies. The Derwent Lightfast was your best option, but even then that's just turned to brown, so it's very translucent. I wonder if we're going to find anything that will go over a woody. Okay, so lays on top of other pencils quite nicely though. Let's move on. Prismacolor time. And Prismacolor turned to just being a smudger here at the Neo Pastels. Yeah, so lots of smudging and not really laying on top too much. Let's see. But looking good on the Posca Pen, Pastels, and largely on top of other pencils. Obviously very good opacity on the white, but not when it goes on top of the other pencils. The pigmented pencils seem to go on top better. But yeah, I still don't have a strong contender for a white that will go on top of the other pencils. Not yet, at least. But let's move on to the Polychromos. Okay, so Polychromos is more of an oil-based pencil. And so what's interesting is that it really doesn't cling to any of these waxy, oily pastels at all. It's just too hard, I guess. The softer pencils have done pretty well. And in fact, I'm still looking at this, thinking that the Luminance and the Lightfast are the winners so far. Do have one more pencil to try, but definitely those two. Maybe Prismacolor as well. So these are the softer pencils. I'm surprised at the drawing pencils are very, very creamy and smooth, but they haven't clung to that as well as they can. And the other thing with the Faber-Castell Polychromos is they're quite translucent, so you don't get much opacity with them. It's a different type of drawing with these, or coloring. You have to layer the layers up gradually to get all of your blending done. But again, there's no white transference onto any of these other pencil brands. So going in with your, a bit of a detail or a highlight on top of another pencil work it's not gonna be the Polychromos that does that. So the white is really just for blending into polychromos themselves. Okay, one more regular pencil, and that's our Derwent Color Soft. Let's see how these guys are doing. Okay, so the Color Soft is known for having more opacity and working well on dark papers. So I expected this. It laid down, the color side of things laid down on top of pencils very well. And it did okay here with the wax and the oil pastels. But again, no white has shown up on any of these. So with the white, you're going to need to stick to the pastel, whichever white is coming with your set. And that is one of the reasons that I try and get if I buy the set, I try and get an extra open stock white as well in the order, just because you are gonna go through that. Because clearly you can't get the same, yeah, you can't get the white to lay down. All right, so Derwent Pastels. Okay, so they're quite a firm pastel, and I was expecting that they would work okay on top of the pan pastels, but not so much. So I think they're too hard to go on top of the soft pastel. Now let me check I have this poster. I made this for you. I'll put a link. It'll be in my Ko-fi store down below. You can have it for free. But yeah, pastels go from hard to soft. So the pencils are harder than the pan pastel. So the pan pastel is very soft, which means you can you're going to have a little bit of a challenge putting the pastel that's harder on that on top. But let me see how these ones do, because these ones are a bit softer, I think. Okay, so again, I wouldn't say it was the best thing on top of the pan pastels, but they definitely worked better on top of the pan pastels because they are that little bit more softer. And don't use your pastel pencils on top of regular wax and oil based pencils, or any of them really. It was just to see what happens. But surprised to see that they've gone on top of the Posca pen quite well, but just not with much opacity. Okay, so there's a lot to learn from this. I'm probably gonna put some ticks down where I see things have worked really well. So definitely on top of the Neo Color ones, the Derwent Lightfast. I'm going to give that one 2 ticks. And 1 tick for the Luminance. Neo Color 2s. I think the winner here was the Lightfast again. And then runner-up, Prismacolor, Neo Pastels, looks like the Luminance won that one. Runner-up, Lightfast. Neo Arts. These are the new ones. The winner is the Lightfast. Not many options for runners up. But again, not the white on any of these. You're going to have to stick to the Neo Art White for that. I am going to do a Neo Color 1 versus 2 versus Pastel versus Art video as well. I think this one you're watching will come out first and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I want to try and get that done this week. Posca Pastels. I think I'm going to go with Prismacolor as the winner, and then definitely Luminance and the Lightfast were up there. Posca pen was interesting because I always see it as quite acrylic-y and something that pencils don't particularly want to go on top of, but they do. They do. I don't know why I always I think I'm thinking of maybe when I've tried it a long time ago, it was a very glossy acrylic paint and pencils didn't want that too much. And the Posca pens are quite matte. So, but yeah, all of them have done really well on top, and the pastel pencils as well. I'd probably say not the Derwent Pro Color didn't hold up too well on that, but everything else. So I'm just going to do a tick to all. Pan pastels. Let's see. Yeah, they all did really well on the pan pastels, obviously apart from actual pastel pencils. So I wonder if I will even pick a winner. I'll probably go on the opacity then. So Prismacolor can win this one because they retain their colors quite well. And then let's go for the Derwent Chromaflow, which they're obviously buddies. Well, they're not. One's by Derwent and Prismacolor is not. So, but these two work really well together as a pencil. So I have also in my Ko-fi store, I have a color chart where I have combined these two into color families so that you can just expand your color collection. Stabilo Woody, nothing really wanted anything to do with the Stabilo Woodies, and at best the Derwent Lightfast went on top, but I really would just say no, don't waste your time. Stabilo Woodies, they can be water activated. This is obviously the thick application on top. Oh, that's another thing I should say. This is worst case scenario. So this is thick laydowns of all of these things to see if something can break through. But if you still have some of the tooth left, if you haven't fully burnished your pencil, then any of these things, any of these pencils at the top, not so much the pastel because pastel won't talk to pencil anyway, but any of these wax and oil-based pencils will work on all of these things on a lighter application. But this is when we've fully burnished or a thick laydown. What can you do? Okay, the luminance. I'm in the pencil section now where we're seeing pencils on top of pencils. It's a no for the Pro Color. The Pro Color didn't really stand out. Chromaflows did well. Prismacolors did well. Again, these are the softer ones, so you're going soft on top. So that's usually easier. The Derwent Color Soft came out really, really bright. on top. So they've done really well here. Let's do some tick, 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 tick. And they're very opaque. Yeah, there's a lot of good options unless you want a white. If you want a white to go on top, I think your options are pretty limited again in the pencil world. I think you're gonna have to go over the top with another medium. And I do have another video that I did where I tested all of my white products to go on top of colorings. So I have a test on that one. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I think I might have to get this uploaded as well, so you can take a look at that for yourself in a bit more detail. Or perhaps you might like to run these tests yourself and see how you get on. But I'm definitely putting this in with my color swatches so that I can have this as a recap when I'm trying to think of what I can work with. But definitely with the pencil work on top of the crayons, I don't think it's going to work as well as going on top of something else because the product is so thick and you're kind of scraping it off. But I'm going to play with that. I mean, that's a style in itself. So maybe people are into that kind of look. The Posca pastels I picked up because I was thinking that they might do really good like under colorings to fill up large areas in a coloring book, and then you could go on top with the pencils. And that definitely does seem to be the case to an extent. Again, this is the thick lay down, so this is, you know, I couldn't have got any more Posca pastel down, but on a little bit more lighter, I think you could get a lot of detail on top of those because that seemed to be way more receptive to pencils in general. But yeah, okay. Let me know your thoughts. What did you think about this? And is this useful for you? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you again soon.